The company is a South San Francisco-based company known as SelectAppliance. And as they describe their service, professional cooking products for commercial and for home kitchens. I'd like you to meet now the president of the company, SelectAppliance. His name is Russell Zipkin. Russell, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Nice to be here. Thanks.
Do me a favor and describe for me what it is you provide for the restaurant industry. Let's take that element first, okay?
Well, there's hundreds of manufacturers in the food service business making everything from stoves to refrigerators, sinks, fryers, just about everything you can ever imagine seeing in a restaurant kitchen.
Right.
And we provide all those types of equipment around the world to anybody that wants to either replace a piece of equipment that may have failed, or if they're building a new restaurant, they may have a whole list of equipment that they need.
I bet you have a fascinating store to stroll around at.
It's fun. I grew up in the business, so it's fun for me to see the high-tech equipment that professional chefs use and enjoy using and provide the great recipes and so forth.
And by having a traditional brick-and-mortar store, you give homeowners who might come in the chance to see what's available out there that they might not see in, a normal store, which only carries a smattering of products that are available for the kitchen. I know you said over 100 different manufacturers you represent, but they're literally thousands of products.
Thousands of products. Some are not appropriate for home use, but many pieces do cross over, and people have an opportunity to buy the same piece of equipment that a professional chef uses.
All right, so when we talk about the restaurant industry, who are your kinds of clients?
Everybody from small restaurants, like you said, cafeterias, schools, any place where there's a food service operation. Even office buildings, a lot of companies provide food service for their employees, and they have professional kitchens set up. So any of those.
So give me an idea of the kinds of products. Obviously, we're talking about ice boxes, refrigerators, big babies, as well as tiny little things?
Everything from pots and pans and silverware to, like you said, big walk-in refrigerators and freezers and fryers and stoves and griddles and broilers and ovens, everything.
And do you find that you sell more from walk-in people looking in the store or telephone, or is the Internet the big area where your sales are?
Well, the Internet is certainly growing. We've been very successful with it. It's growing every day. We find a lot of people may live in outskirt areas. They may not be close to a major city where they have a restaurant supply store. So it's a great opportunity for them to get what they need at the convenience of their own office.
And are restaurateurs and professional chefs willing to buy over the Internet, or do they want to come in and see something, hold it, and play with it?
Generally speaking, these people know the equipment. They've been around it. They've been working in kitchens. They know the brand names. They know what they want. And so it's an opportunity for them to just go do a quick search, find SelectAppliance, and make the purchase.
There are lots of places one can go to buy kitchen appliances and things like that, and even for professional kitchens, as you know that. I think every major city has at least one or two places that specialize in this kind of equipment. I really think what I want to hone in on is what is it that makes SelectAppliance, your company, different from other people who provide the same kind of service and equipment?
Well, hopefully it's our customer service, our product knowledge, my experience in the business over 25 years, and access to every brand and every product that's available. We go to many trade shows and look at all the newer products that are coming out, and so we're always up to date. And we can solve people's problems. They can call, even if they're looking for something, they're not quite sure who makes it, we can find it for them.
What's interesting is, I know you mentioned hundreds of different products and manufacturers. I want to hold up a picture here and just show the audience. For example, this is one thing, just one line of something that you carry. If they looked on your website, they would see this. These are pretty sophisticated grills, outdoor barbecues. Describe this for me.
Well, this is a professional company, a commercial company that makes very heavy-duty restaurant-style stainless steel barbecues. These are used at golf courses, any caterers, anywhere where they have maybe a large outdoor event, big fairs and so forth. They're very solid, last a long time, and they do a great job of cooking.
What's this one for?
This one is that's a towable unit. It's actually perfect for somebody's tailgate party, but it can be towed behind a vehicle and brought to whatever event there is.
What I want to point out is this line is known as Crown Verity.
Correct.
This is a Canadian company.
That's right, and they make a great product. And the beauty of this is a great example of a company that makes a product that is designed for commercial use, designed for professional chefs, but is available through SelectAppliance for people to buy for their home if they want to upgrade to a great professional.
I was just going to spin this. This shows you the other kinds of things. I've often thought about wanting to have one of those in the backyard. That would be great. You never see those in a store. You know, you're walking around in a normal
right.
kitchen appliance store, but this is the kind of thing you can get from your store over the
Great
internet.
for a home outdoor deck, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, it'd be wonderful. But there are lots of companies, European companies, companies from around the world whose products you carry.
On the food service side of the business, there's been a number of import companies from Asia doing refrigeration pieces, especially. But most of the equipment is made in the U.S., and we're proud of that. We're proud of the fact that we're providing people around the world with access to American-made products, too.
Talk to me about the refrigerator story you were telling me about a little while ago.
Well, this is where I feel proud about our customer service. I had a customer that needed a refrigerator very badly. It was a very specific brand and model because they're the only ones that make that size unit.
This was for a restaurant
It was
or
for
commercial use?
A hotel, yes.
Hotel.
For commercial use. And they had tried to find it, and they were told by a series of different dealers that it wasn't going to be available for 4 to 6 weeks. I stepped in and decided, because I knew that this same company built 5 different versions of that product, that maybe they didn't ask the right questions. So I called the factory, and they said, sure enough, the first one was not going to be available. But I said, wait, what about the other 5 models? Is there any one that you might have? Sure enough, they did. The customer was thrilled to get it, and we solved the problem.
And the reason is because you happen to have the knowledge
It's
that
experience.
the other retailers that they contacted just simply didn't know.
Experience and product knowledge, yes.
How long have you been in the business?
Gosh, I started working with my dad 30 years ago. And so it's been an ongoing pleasure in this business. Again, growing up as a little kid, I always knew that my kitchen one day was going to have the best equipment because we sold all the stuff that professional chefs used. And it tickles me that people are now trying to do that for themselves too, that they're expanding, remodeling their homes, putting in professional style equipment.
I mean, it is kind of interesting that in high-end homes they are using restaurant equipment in homes. Is that kind of overkill or not necessarily so?
If you love to cook, if you have a passion for cooking,
Yeah.
and you really want to reproduce what your favorite restaurant might prepare,
Yeah.
you need the right tools.
What is your kitchen like?
It's modest in size, but I do have a professional 48-inch range with double ovens and 6 burners and a barbecue built in. I have a professional style hood over the top of it for good ventilation. I have a large refrigerator, dishwasher. I mean, all the things that people need to have. But it is definitely upscale, and even down to my pots and pans. It's all the heaviest duty stuff.
And does it make a difference?
It does. It absolutely does.
I mean, it gets down to the point you can taste the difference?
From a cooking, well, yes.
I guess you can.
I'll give you an example of why high heat cooking in particular, why the larger burners and the higher flame is important. When you put a pot on a stove, any stove,
Yeah.
it'll get hot. You can melt butter and get it ready, and it'll get hot.
Right.
But when you put cold food into it, the temperature drops, and the food sits there. And if you don't have a large enough burner, the food starts to soak up the oil or the butter, gets limp and soggy, loses its color and flavor. When you have a high power burner, it powers right through that cool down phase, keeps the food crispy, cooks much faster, doesn't soak up the oil, and that's the secret of restaurant cooking. When you go to a restaurant, they're using high power burners, and it's fast and it flavors awesome.
And do most restaurants cook with gas?
Most do. Some areas, of course, they don't have natural gas available. Propane could be prohibitive. But yes, generally speaking, all the commercial stoves are gas.
That's pretty interesting. You probably are a walking fountain of knowledge about how to cook foods properly, etc. Do restaurateurs come in and ask for your advice on different products?
Oh, of course.
So, you know, they pepper you with questions?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of places, when they're first getting started, they'll have a designer do a layout. And oftentimes, I'll make suggestions where you might change something, how you change the seating or the flow traffic flow through the kitchen, things like that, just to help them so that it's more efficient when they get the store built.
Are there any specific brands that you carry that you think, you know, are better than others, that you recommend, that you're willing to talk about? You know, because I know you carry so many different items.
Commercially, there's a lot of great product out there, and they all have slightly different features than others. And so that's again why we try to talk to the customer about what they really need. On the home side, yeah, there are some specific products that I'm very fond of. One is...
We'll get to that. We'll get to the home site in a minute. But, I mean, commercially, I guess then really the key is how it's going to be used, where it's going to be used, how much it's going to be used.
Interestingly enough, in the food service side, products don't change that fast. New technology comes out, and there's a new one right now called induction cooking, which is really interesting. But generally speaking, these factories continue to make the same models, the same sizes for years and years and years. Things don't change that fast. So the good side of that is that the chefs know what they want, they know what they've had experience cooking on, and it's still available.
Well, that's a fascinating story. And the key is when people buy from you, they can look everything up on your website, the full.
We take a lot of pride in laying out the product sheet, each page, so that we give them all the product benefits and features and all the specifications. So yes, they get a full story of what that product is all about, and they can search from product to product very easily on our website.
Very interesting indeed. All right, that's the commercial end. We'll look at equipment for the home and for the homeowner when we come back.